Hi Poke fans, Harry here and welcome to my breakdown of the 6th episode of the Aim to Be a Pokemon Master series, The Same Moon, Now and Forever. And this episode was amazing, and there was just so many hidden Easter eggs and details in this episode, it was insane. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get in to the video. Now, of course, spoiler warning for the episode, The Same Moon, Now and Forever. But this episode was just amazing. There were so many references, and it was something that is kind of new for this series. There were a lot of, well, kind of on-the-nose references, but I love it. It's Ash and Pikachu's last series, so there has to be a lot of references to their past. So, the episode starts with Ash and Pikachu relaxing together, with Misty and Brock tidying up, and whilst Pikachu is relaxing, is wearing Ash's cap, which is a reference to Ash Cap Pikachu from the games Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and also Sword and Shield. So Ash Cap Pikachu debuted in the Sun and Moon games with Kanto to Alola, Ash's cap, so it had Ash's Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Carlos, and Alola cap. And then it built on that in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, introducing a partner cap Pikachu from the side spin-off universe of Pokemon the movie I Choose You, The Power of Us and the Secrets of the Jungle, that cap Pikachu wore. And also they built on that with a World Cap Pikachu who debuted in Pokemon Sword and Shield, of course being the cap that Ash wears in the Galar region. And Pikachu wearing Ash's cap is also a reference to Ash and Pikachu's 10 million volt Thunderbolt Z move, where Pikachu would wear Ash's cap when he performed the Z move. So of course, this is Ash and Pikachu relaxing. However, their relaxation is cut short when Team Rocket appear, capturing Ash and Pikachu in a net. And the machine Team Rocket are using to capture them is actually their Meowth bubblegum robot, which first appeared in the episode Good Quill Hunting, which is of course the episode where Ash caught his Cyndaquil. However, Ash calls out Snivy to free him and Pikachu from the net that Team Rocket have caught them in. And Snivy is of course one of Ash's Unovan Pokemon, and it first appeared in the episode Snivy Plays Hard to Catch. And of course the episode where Ash caught Snivy. And Snivy's last major appearance was in Team Rocket's Shocking Recruit. And her last minor appearance was in the episode Partners in Time, where of course she was seen as a vision by Pikachu when he was battling against Leon's Charizard. So Snivy manages to free Ash from Team Rocket's net with a Leaf Storm, also destroying Team Rocket's bubblegum machine in the process. Unfortunately, Pikachu gets caught in the net and blasts off with Team Rocket. And that is basically the main plot of this episode. Ash and Pikachu working to get back to each other after Pikachu gets blasted off with Team Rocket. But before that, the intro plays, and in the Pokemon section, it shows Ash's Sinnoh team. Of course, we first had his Kanto team, then his Johto team. Then last episode we had his Hoenn team, and now we have his Sinnoh team. So first off, we see Turchwake in its first appearance in Getting Twiggy with It, where Ash caught Turchwake, and then it goes on to show Gibble its first appearance in Meteoric Rise to Excellence. And funnily enough, when it shows Turchwake and Gibble's first appearance, it shows them both biting on Ash's head, something that Turchwake did when it liked a trainer, and Gibble just bit a lot of things, so that's just kind of Gibble's thing, but it shows both Turchwake and Gibble biting Ash's head. And then it goes on to show Weasel using a water gun counter shield against Fantina in Shield with a Twist, which is Ash's rematch against Fantina when he finally beats her. Then it goes on to show Staraptor when it evolved in Pursuing a Lofty Goal, where it beat Paul's Haunchcrow in the Pokemon flying competition. And then it shows Gliscor, another flying type, and it shows it when it evolved in Fighting Fear with Fear, where basically Ash was training Gligar to overcome its fear so it could evolve into a Gliscor. Just fun to see how it both shows the episode where Staravia evolved into Staraptor and where Gligar evolved into Gliscor. And the final Pokemon it shows is, of course, Chimchar, and this shows its first full episode as a member of Ash's team in Tears for Fears, where it's kind of working to be part of Ash's team and putting its past with Paul behind it. But back to the episode, while Team Rocket and Pikachu blast off, another piece of machinery explodes mid-air, separating Pikachu and Meowth from Team Rocket. And we track Pikachu and Meowth as they fall into a river, suddenly getting attacked by a Gyarados, which is a reference to Ash and Pikachu facing off against a Gyarados in the episode Pokemon The Distant Blue Sky, which I actually did a breakdown of, and I will link that up in the cards above, so check that out if you haven't already. Although Pokemon The Distant Blue Sky does take place in an alternate universe, the Pokemon I Choose You universe and the Pokemon The Power of Us and the Secrets of the Jungle universe, not the main timeline which this Ash is, but it's just a reference that I caught. But fortunately, Pikachu and Meowth do manage to escape from the Gyarados by swimming up a waterfall, which is a reference to Kindness Right on the Tick, which I did a video breakdown of, and I will link that up in the cards above, so check that out if you haven't already. And this is where the gang went to see an event where Magikarp would climb a waterfall to evolve into a Gyarados, and Pikachu and Meowth climb this waterfall to get away from the Gyarados that is attacking them. And realising that they are stuck together, Pikachu and Meowth form a truce together. However, Meowth is planning on double-crossing Pikachu by hoping to get to Jessie and James first, which is a reference to Bound for Trouble, where they were both bound together, and Meowth was planning on doing this before by proposing a truce to Pikachu, but actually planning on double-crossing him. So that is a reference to that episode. And then we see that both Pikachu and Ash can sense each other because of the deep bond they share. And they both head a certain way to reunite with each other, with both Meowth and Misty and Brock being confused on why they are heading that specific way. However, as they presumably head towards each other, Meowth quickly gets hungry, as Team Rocket have been a lot in this series of Aim to be a Pokemon Master. However, he does see some Oran berries. However, some Pidgeys start to eat them, so Meowth, frustrated with them, throws a stone at them, but misses and hits a Spearow, causing the Spearow to get a big bump on its head and to attack them, which is a reference to the first Pokemon episode, the episode Pokemon I Choose You, on which Ash did the same. He threw a rock at a Spearow, causing it to get a big bump on its head and then Spearow to attack it, just like how Spearow attacks Meowth in this scene. But Pikachu manages to deal with the Spearow by electrocuting it. However, this caused Spearow to call its flock to attack them. Again, another reference to Pokemon I Choose You, as that happened in Pokemon I Choose You. Of course, making Pikachu and Meowth having to flee the scene. However, we then rejoin Ash, and he sees these charred Oran berries and the flock of Spearow, and Ash realises Pikachu and Meowth must have had a fight with the Spearow here, and went into the nearby cave that they can just see in the distance, again showing the deep bond between Ash and Pikachu, because that is in fact what happened. However, the Spearow, still being annoyed, decide to attack Ash and the gang, and just before Ash and the gang are hit by the Spearow's attacks, Brock and Misty briefly make the same poses as their in-game counterparts. Brock makes the same pose that he makes in all the Kanto games, and Misty makes the pose that she makes in the games Pokemon Red and Blue. However, as Ash and the gang get attacked by this flock of Spearow, the Spearow that was hit by the rock also gets blasted away with the gang by the flock of Spearow, which is probably a reference to how Pikachu got blasted away with Team Rocket earlier in this episode. And as Ash and the gang are recovering from being blasted away by the Spearow's attacks, they realise that this Spearow also got blasted away with them. And Brock treats the Spearow, of course this is a reference to Brock wanting to be a Pokemon doctor, so he heals Spearow. And whilst they are healing this Spearow, the gang see a Rattata stealing cheese from Ash's backpack, which is another reference to Pokemon I Choose You, as Rattata did that in the episode Pokemon I Choose You as well. However, as the Rattata tries to run away with the cheese, it collapses due to hunger. So Ash decides to give Rattata the piece of cheese so it won't be so hungry. And Rattata starts sniffing Ash. And Ash and the gang realise Rattata can smell Pikachu. And Rattata actually sits where Pikachu sits. And upon realising that Rattata can smell Pikachu, they ask it to help, to which it obliges. And also Ash offers Spearow the chance to come with it, which it accepts, and it sits where Pikachu normally sits on Ash, just where the Rattata had been sitting just before when it had smelled Pikachu on Ash. And zooming out, we can see that Team Rocket are following Ash and the gang, and if they continue to do so, they could both get Pikachu and Meowth before Ash and the gang have time to react, so they decide to follow Ash and the gang. And then we rejoin Pikachu and Meowth and a Caterpie, as Ash's cap that Pikachu was wearing gets carried away by the wind, and they come across this Caterpie which says that he has seen Ash's cap. So they decide to follow Caterpie as it knows where Ash's cap is. However, Meowth is frustrated with how slow Caterpie is going, so Caterpie decides to swing using String Shot, with Pikachu and Meowth grabbing hold of it, with Caterpie of course swinging to where Ash's cap is, which is of course what they are searching for, and why they have decided to search with Caterpie since Caterpie knows where Ash's cap is. And this is probably a reference to Ash swinging on vines in the episode The Winds of Beginning the Endless Road, which I did a breakdown of that episode, which I will link up in the cards above, so check that out if you haven't already. And also a reference to Ash's Unovan companion Iris, who were always used to swing on vines. However, back to this episode, Pikachu, Meowth and Caterpie come across Ash's hat at the top of a large tree, which has a lot of Venipede on it. However, Pikachu manages to get past all these Venipede as they are sleeping and get Ash's cap. But the Venipede wake up when Meowth sneezes. However, Caterpie manages to swing them away, but a Venipede does manage to poison sting Meowth, poisoning him. And then we see Ash and the gang come across Venipede, and they decide to attack Ash and the gang. So of course we are switching between Pikachu's point at one space and then Ash and the gang coming at that point later and getting similar results. However, as they are starting to get attacked by all these Venipede, Spearow's flock arrive to buy Ash and the gang time for them to get away and find Pikachu. And then back to Pikachu and the gang, they find a Pecha Berry to cure the poison that Meowth is suffering from, showing how kind Pikachu and this random Caterpie are. And then as the moon comes out, as the shot transitions from day to night, Pikachu stares at it, remembering Ash. And the way he hugs Ash's cap is the way he hugs it in the Pokemon I Choose You movie, when Ash is thought to be dead in that movie, and just the way he hugs that cap is how he hugs it in Pokemon I Choose You, the movie. And we also see Ash staring at the moon to remembering Pikachu, which gives the episode its title, of course being The Same Moon, Now and Forever. And the random Caterpie Ash and Meowth are travelling with joins Pikachu in looking at the moon, which is a reference to Ash Catches Pikachu, where Ash's Pikachu and Caterpie both looked at the moon together. And I'm pretty sure they also did this in the Pokemon I Choose You movie. And Ash and Pikachu reminisce about their time travelling together, and we see flashbacks of all their time travelling together throughout all of these regions, starting with their meeting at Professor Oak's lab, then Pikachu refusing to be friends with Ash, and then them being chased by a flock of Spearow. All of those scenes from the Pokemon I Choose You episode, the first episode of the Pokemon anime. We then see Pikachu refusing to evolve into Raichu with a Thunderstone in Electric Shock Showdown after it lost to Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. We then see Pikachu running into Ash's arms after choosing to stay with him in Pikachu's Goodbye, which is where Ash and the gang ran into a flock of Pikachu, and Pikachu was thinking about maybe staying with them, but he, of course, decided to stay with Ash in the end. Then we see Ash cradling a sick Pikachu after arriving in Hoenn in Get the Show on the Road, where Pikachu was overcharged with electricity. We then see Pikachu defeating Show's Raichu in Piga and Goliath, which is in the Sinnoh region, where Ash and Pikachu lost to a Raichu at first, however they eventually beat it in the rematch. We then see Pikachu attacking Ash while being under Chorus's control in the episode Team Plasma's Pokemon Power Plot, where Chorus could take control of any Pokemon he wanted. And then we see Ash and his Kalos team at the Coumarine City Festival in Under the Fledgling Tree, where trainers were supposed to give gifts to their Pokemon and other trainers. And we see Pikachu and Ash on Treasure Island in Partner Promises, of course in the Alola region being many different islands. And then finally, we see Ash embracing Pikachu after defeating Leon's Charizard in Partners in Time. Now, I know that was a lot of information, but there were a lot of flashbacks, and it's just cool to see Ash's adventures from the Kanto region through to the Galar region, and then back again in this series, of course. It's just amazing to see what they've been through. And then the episode comes back with it being morning again, of course being the next day. And whilst eating leper berries, both Ash and Pikachu sense each other once again, like they did earlier in this episode, showing how much of a deep bond they have. And as they run towards each other, they find each other and embrace. And Pikachu thunderbolts Ash, just like he has done many times in the past, and they jump together and they embrace, and they then realise that they are embracing over a river. And once they realise this, they fall, of course, being many cartoons as they can hang in the air for however long they want. But once they realise they're hanging in the air, they fall. Just like Ash and Pikachu in this scene. However, fortunately, Latias saves them. And, of course, this is the Latias that has been following Ash in every episode this series. However, it saves Ash in its invisible form, so no one knows how or who saved Ash and Pikachu from falling into a river, but it was Latios, we know that, and this is probably a reference to Pokemon I Choose You, where Ash and Pikachu fell into a river after, of course, being chased by the flock of Spearow. And just as Ash and Pikachu are reunited together, we see Team Rocket also turn up to get Meowth. And they decide to not try and capture Pikachu this time, and leave Ash and Pikachu to just get reacquainted with each other again, showing how Ash and Pikachu are the best of friends, and it just ends with a really heartwarming scene of Ash and Pikachu again embracing with each other. And then the outro plays, and again it is the original Japanese outro, and then we get a sneak peek of the next episode in which we see a former Pokemon of Ash's return. But I think this episode was really great. We had loads of little details to past episodes. We had flashbacks to past episodes, and it showed the deep bond that Ash and Pikachu share. After travelling together 25 years with each other, they better have a deep bond, and I think there is no bond deeper in the Pokemon universe than the bond between Ash and Pikachu. So I think this episode was great. It was a really great episode, but let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this episode. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out, and I will see you in the next one.